All right, I am very excited to be joined by a gentleman that can be found all around BC, seen at Boom Pro Wrestling, Dust Pro Wrestling, as well as WrestleCore. I'm very excited to be chatting with Mason Crowley. Mason, thanks for joining me today.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I'm excited to learn a little bit about your journey. First
Mhm.
off, I always like asking, tell me about your time at Lions Gate Dojo and your training.
I came in at the tail end of 2023. My class tried out at the end of August, and then we came in September. For me, it's been a bit of a slow, I won't say so much slow process as it was. I moved in my own pace. Right at the beginning, I was with a pretty big class of people, but that whittled down pretty quickly. And yeah, we got a nice core group of people that's great to work with. And yeah, everyone's moving at their own pace, but everyone's moving at a nice, consistent pace at least with their own training. For me, my biggest thing was I had really bad eyesight to begin with, and I kind of had to overcome that a little bit. I wore very thick glasses. I had basically a -14 and -13 out of 2020 vision. So it's one of those things. That's how bad my vision was. And then I had to get eye surgery to kind of fix that. And that's all been golden since then.
One little hurdle to get over, but put all the other pieces together, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, especially with, yeah, if once you're able to see it, oh man, it makes a world of difference. Uh, but yeah, for a while it was to kind of make up for that. I did a bunch of other, I just like worked any way I could. I did a lot of help behind the scenes to at least like keep, I don't know, just to help out basically.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a highlight from training?
Early one for me, really early one for me was like within maybe the first month it happened where early on it was the thing that hurt the most for me was stuff like hitting the ropes because that just takes one to throw your whole body at it really takes a lot. But then once you do it, you realize, oh, this can hurt if you do it poorly. And I was doing it poorly for a very long time. I can't remember who, but someone in class pointed out just one little fix of like how to change hitting the ropes, and that changed so much more because at the beginning I thought, this is not meant for me. I'm gonna not gonna be able to make it. But it's like once someone was able to kind of like watch what I was doing wrong and then just said, do it this way, it helped immensely. And then on the same rhythm of everyone moves at their own pace kind of thing. It also, there's like anything that you're doing, it's not all just straight progress. There's hurdles, there's peaks and valleys. And for me, one major valley for a while was I dislocated my shoulder about 6 months in, I want to say. And as right when I was making momentum, right when I was actually like feeling the groove of things and understanding a little bit more. And yeah, it was something that, and it happened to like the injury kind of happened with an accumulation of a bunch of little things where what started was I was doing some strike exchanges with one of my colleagues or one of the people train with, and he kept nailing me really hard in this one section of my shoulder with his elbow. And it was one of those things where it's like you got to learn how to you got to learn how to do these things properly because if you don't, then you're just wailing on people and hurting them. And it was this thing where didn't show anything. Next day, it had a little bruise popped up. And I'm like, that's fine. Next week, the shoulder was yellow, which was weird. And I'm like, that's nothing to worry about. Really, this is also a story of like learning to listen to your body and seeing the signs early on. Because I kept going to training, I kept working out and doing things that are a little dangerous to it. And then at one doing a roll in training about 2 weeks after it had turned yellow, like landed on it, or I didn't even land on it, just something fell on my sh shoulder and it did not pop out right away. It was something where I clearly hurt myself and I'm like, I have to go. left to go back home, and then immediately was kind of checking on myself, and it just popped out right like in my hand. Luckily, I was able to get it right back in immediately, just within that period of shock that you have when you dislocate something, where it's like, oh, you get it in now, or you have to go to the hospital. And luckily, I was able to get it back in and didn't have to go to the hospital right away. Probably should have. And then I was on the wasn't completely on the shelf, but it definitely halted my progress for a solid 3 months, 3 to 4 months to kind of get back into the groove of things. But yeah, that was just a thing where it's like you want to listen to your body, you want to see the signs, even when even when you don't want to listen, because that's what a lot of wrestlers do. They don't want to listen to their body because sometimes that means you have to slow down a little bit.
You don't want to lose those bookings, right? As a wrestler, so especially new in the industry, you're training. You're
Mhm.
like, nope, I got to keep going. I got to get into this. But
Oh yeah, exactly.
yeah, got to listen to your body, and you're back on track now. Obviously it's been a couple of years since that happened, but you're booked and busy. It seems now lately. So for anybody that hasn't seen a Mason Crowley match, what can they expect?
You want to be strategic with things. You want to take your time, but also sometimes you want to go a little fast. Sometimes you want to go real hard, and sometimes you just gotta, bring the violence, bring the noise. It's very much like a lot of my energy and aggression would kind of come from like hardcore metal shows where you're in the mosh pit and everyone just flailing and everyone's fighting. So it's a thing where if you stop moving, you're going to get hit. If you don't keep moving, you're not going to be a threat kind of thing. You got to keep moving. You got to keep flailing. You got to harness you got to harness the chaos that is this moment, but then you got to be strategic with it or else then you're not going to be able to, make things land, if that can make sense. Really
Yeah,
what I like to do is I like to pick up a person, throw them. I like to put them in places where they're, uncomfortable and just really, yeah,
for sure.
just strike the crap out of them. Just like beat them up, basically, kind of thing. I like a good suplex. I like a good power move. I like some good strike exchanges. But I'm gonna wail on you. I'm gonna bring as much violence as I can, kind of thing.
For sure. And you've kind of got that dooming, I guess, mentality when you're walking to the ring, when you're in that ring. I've seen a couple of your matches live, and that really shows exactly how you describe it there.
Yeah,
Um,
I really want to get across the idea of like I'm the thing you unleash when you need to take down something. Like if some basically you get like a really nasty attack dog. Like you got a problem, you need to summon something to like take it down, you unleash me kind of thing.
release the demon that is Mason Crowley.
Yeah, yeah.
So you talked about heavy metal being in a pit.
Mhm.
In an article that you wrote, you claim that there are 7 death metal bands that are actually worth listening to. Your Instagram profile says death metal pit fighter. Explain
Mhm.
exactly what that means.
7 ones are those are like the introductory bands was the mentality behind that article. That was the bit of fun with that. I definitely like that was also in like 2017. So, ooh, almost 10 years on that death metal. So, a lot of big new bands have come out in that time that could easily be on that list. But that was like one of those things where it's introducing the concept to people that don't listen to it to begin with. So it's like it all came about when my thought went to Cannibal Corpse being one, not like the definitive death metal band, but it's something along the lines of they are a good barometer or good bar to set for most things. Like for death metal to really be worth anyone's time, in my mind, it really should be as good or better than Cannibal Corpse. And Cannibal Corpse is pretty good. When they're good, they're good. And then, yeah, sorry, there. But and what was the second part of the question?
Yeah, your Instagram profile says death metal pit fighter. So what tell us what that means for someone that's expecting you to come into the ring with that mentality.
Just pure aggression and violence. A lot of good like sense of crowd control. If you put me in with a lot of people, like I can take them out. Like I'm the one that'll overwhelm them all. There's a lot of so within most mosh pits, you got a lot of bodies flying, and then you got some people that are like it really depends on like the band, I guess. But really, in my mind, the mosh pit should kind of weed out the weak a little bit. It's sure it's a place to have fun and dance in a certain way, but we're here to dance the dance of violence. We're throwing fists, we're moving big bodies. Everyone's got to move with the flow, or you get destroyed by the mob in there. So you got to have a good sense of your own self, but really just a good sense of how to deal with crowds, how to deal with the violence of others, and how to dish it back, kind of thing. How to flow with and how to dish it back. So it's a lot of, but also then there's a lot of like, you can kind of disturb the flow of a mosh pit. My favorite thing was just to pick up a dude and start like throwing him around, kind of showcasing that, oh yeah, you're not just in here with fucking someone that's gonna be bumping up and down and trying to like do a little two step. And no, you're in here with a beast. You're in here with someone that can like use his strength and throw people around. And like, no, we're here to bring the violence, bring the noise, kind of thing.
I
But
love it.
essentially, yeah, is the idea too that you put me in any pit, I'm gonna thrive. That's the idea. Like the fighting pit, the mosh pit, any kind of like pit you want to try to throw me in, I'm gonna come out on top on there.
The beast mentality for sure. Put you anywhere and you can adapt.
Exactly.
So I am a big Aleister Black fan. I like The
Hmm.
Undertaker. I like the dark stuff. You give off that similar vibe.
Oh,
Who are
thank
your
you.
wrestling inspirations?
I would say, yeah, like for modern ones, you got your Tommy End or Aleister Black, Malachi Black. Do enjoy that kind of style because, yeah, when I first saw him, that was especially with his initial run in NXT. I really liked the idea that he did just look like the guy at a black metal show that was throwing kicks a little too hard in the mosh pit. That was like, yeah, like he is the most like feared man at a Mayhem show or something like that. I don't know if he listens to Mayhem. No, sure. But what was it? Yeah, there's definitely some influence there, but my influences kind of go back deeper a little bit. Like I'm, I got some age on me. I'm pretty old, so it's at this point I'm deep in my 30s. And when I first started watching, I wouldn't say it was. I guess it was the Attitude Era, but my initial like influences were probably Hardy Boys, the Edge and Christian and Dudley Boys kind of war that they had with the TLC matches, and even like when Hardy Boys were facing off against Edge and Christian for the Invitational tournament, that stuff. That's right around when I started watching. But those guys kind of like I would say hooked me a little bit. But yeah, for in terms of spookier guys, it was when I was a kid, it was Kane. Seeing Kane and Bam Bigelow. Those are probably the two biggest ones as a child because, and I was even thinking about it the other day, that they were both really big, scary guys that had a very toyetic kind of look to them in the sense that Kane looks like his action figure. You would, as a kid, you would see these action figures and be like, oh, that's a monster. And then you see, like, oh, that's for a cartoon or something. But you see Kane's action figure and be like, oh, that's a real dude. He looks like that. That's a straight up monster. right there. Bam Bam Bigelow, same thing. I believe it. I can't remember what the game was. Someone might know it off the top of their head, but it was like an original arcade game that they released for the Sega Genesis, I want to say. I played that at my friend's place, and it had old Undertaker, it had Yokozuna on it, but it also had Bam Bam Bigelow. And the way the, the guy's voice is like Bam Bam Bigelow has like seared in my brain, and just his look, his move set, and that, and then seeing him in real life and being like, damn, he looks like that. He is that. That's insane. And then also that was another guy that was like first wrestler or first dude ever that I just saw that had like tattoos on his head. That was insane. And so just like I didn't know you could do that kind of thing as a child. Uh, so I'd say, yeah, definitely Kane in a sense for like that's the thing that captured my imagination as a child and kind of like made me aware of wrestling. And then I saw a Kane match where he was tagging with Mankind, and then it became Mankind. Mankind was another one that like just his look I really gravitated towards, and something about, yeah, the fact that he would take a beating, the fact that he would take so much like he would absorb so much violence and then still keep going was very the word didn't exist to me as a child, but it was very endearing to me. It was very like it made me like him a whole lot more than just like the straight monsters that they're out there. Pardon me. And but yeah, I'd say those are like the initial influences. And then from there, just at a point, my friend started what was it? He got his hands on ECW tapes. So then we started watching ECW because of Bam Bam Bigelow and guys like that. But it was probably like Rob Van Dam, Jerry Lynn, those guys. I was really into their matches. All of Van Dam's like his whole like TV title run that he had in the late 90s, the very tail end of the 90s there was like really influential for me as a kid seeing this kind of like wrestling. And then it went to something like just watching that, then you're introduced to someone like Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka, and then just those kind of matches really were like the bedrock for what I was into as a kid. And then I can't remember. Like I'm not. I don't have a clean way of kind of going into like any other point from that. But I'd say those would be like my major influences from an early age. Kind of lasted me up until about like yeah my early teens. But until then, I was like that's when Rob Van Dam finally entered WWF or WWE at the time, and it was like him versus Jeff Hardy. Those were like kind of like my guys for a little while. But yeah, it was always kind of like the Hardys, Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, and then just kind of like a grab bag of influences from the ECW and whatnot.
And a bit of
So,
an eclectic group, but it all makes sense, from when you're watching. That's where you get your biggest influences.
yeah.
You talked about Bam Bam Bigelow quite a bit there. You talked about his tattoos on his head. You yourself have quite a few tattoos.
Mhm.
Do you have any wrestling related tattoos? Do you have any tattoos that you regret? And how many tattoos do you have?
It would take me like a solid couple seconds, a solid couple seconds to think about the actual number. I want to say it's definitely beyond 35, maybe like around 40. I'm not sure. Yeah, I got a bunch of say wrestling specific ones. Some I probably even kind of like vaguely forget if they were wrestling ones because I'm not directly looking at them right now. Oh, I got the burning hammer on my ear. Burning hammer on my knee right here for the best wrestling move of all time by Kenta Kobashi, the burning hammer. And then above that, right here, we got what was called the Wounded Man, which is like an old diagram that they have in like uh medieval textbooks and stuff like that uh for fucking sorry for doctors where they'll kind of explain like oh different wounds of the body and I just kind of translate into being mankind so it's the many wounds of mankind on there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the only like two specifically in the sense that they are wrestling related. And I think some of the other ones are, but I can't remember. But closer to the question of do I have any regrets of them? Nah. It's like, yeah, I like them all, even or especially the stupid ones. But it's one of these things where it's an odd thing to say, but it's like even if it's a quick decision, once you've made the decision to put it on your body, it's very easy to accept. It's like, well, I got it. No, no means to get like uh, mad about it. But it's definitely a thing that no, I have no regrets on them at all. Like I've enjoyed I've enjoyed the process of choosing them, getting them. I do have some that have been covered up. So that'd probably be the closest to being a regret, to be a regret. But even then, they weren't even like regrets. The ones that I have that are covered up were covered up by the artists themselves. For instance, I had one that my friend that I've a friend of mine by the name of Katie So, a really gifted tattooer in town and artist. She goes by Ghost Meadow on Instagram. Anyway, she did like a spiky flail. So it was like a chain and a little spike ball that was right here. And then just years later, she was just kind of like looking at it randomly and said, "Hey, can I cover that up with just something else?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so just like she just gave me this nice little like floral arrangement over it, just kind of cover that shit up. And yeah, no regrets. That's as easy I can as I can say it. The
Just some,
closest, yeah, yeah. No, yeah.
yeah, just some fun little stories, and your body is a canvas of art, and you've made those
Yeah,
decisions, you know?
yeah. Even the ones that don't have like say a story or a deep thought behind them gain a story over time because it's something that it reminds me of like whenever I see it, I remind myself of when or where I was in time in life when I got it. And then it's yeah, that also just the process of getting it kind of creates its own story over time because it's often I know the people that are doing it. I'm friends with a lot of them or have been, or they're just people that I've met a couple times and yeah, are no longer in my life. Or there's like one or two that are done by like someone that I discovered halfway through was kind of crazy. And then I was like, oh, okay, good to know. Good to know. I like, depending on how, like, it's good art. So it's like, you didn't say anything too crazy. So I can't just like, ignore you.
Do you have any dream matchup opponents?
I wish I did. It's more of a thing where I'm extremely happy for every opportunity, or that's where my mind goes whenever I'm kind of asked that, because it just, unfortunately, I do have that issue where sometimes be like, oh, anything. What's the answer? It's like, oh, anything, and then my brain kind of just flutters away and be like, oh, I'm just happy to be here, something along that line. It's for me, there's a lot of local guys I really want to wrestle. But even guys that have already wrestled, I want to like just wrestle again. Like there's Dave Rishi, definitely one of the best within town. I just wrestled him recently, like a bunch, and I want to wrestle him again. I want to do as much as I can with him. Joey Tran, another one, like two really good baby faces right now, but they're both got like they got such great like athleticism and energy in the both of them that it, yeah, we could have any kind of match together. There's there's like those like even on a local level, you feel afraid to be like, oh, I'd love to get these guys before they like get too big. It feels almost like there's a list of people that's just too big. Like I want to take on everyone right now. I want to see what I can do with anybody. I want to I fought Sharif uh, of Reloaded many times, but I want to fight him again. I want to fight Jackie Lee. I've not of Reloaded. I've not fought Jackie. I would love to. I would love to take on Power Chef of Boom. I would love to work with a character like that. Also, a guy that's extremely strong, a guy who's like really athletic and just needs needs to start like people start need to start using Power Chef some more. People need to start using a lot of like the hidden talents a little bit more. I want to fight like Nicole Matthews. I want to take that on, like one of the strongest strikers in the province, if not just Canada itself. Tony Baroni's on like an insane tear right now. That guy is always been good, but he's just gotten somehow better in the last like not like year, not even year, just like last couple months. Each month he gets better and better, and it's just I want to take that on, especially since he's getting a lot more babyface reactions, which is earned, that's deserved. Then there's like, of course, Artie Spencer or Artemis Spencer. Just if I could ever even just get a chance to kind of like step in the ring with him for a full match, or even like anything, that'd be great. I would love that the most. So of course, Cherry Blossom, one of the like the shining stars of all of Vancouver right now. She is on the shelf right now. She's one of these people that unfortunately kind of got injured not too long ago, and would love an opportunity to have many matches with her. She's insanely talented, and just like couldn't think of anyone. Like I have had a match with her, but again, that's another example of just I want to have more. I want to have more matches with these people. Basically, yeah, basically anyone I am honored to step in the ring with and just kind of make something happen. I want to work with everyone. I want to test my style and my and just my own character, my own like as a person. I want to test myself against all these people because everyone's got something different. Everyone's got their strengths, but everyone has a lot of heart. And I want to see if I can break those hearts. I want to see if I can, yeah, I want to see what kind of violence we can make together. And that goes for like basically anyone in town. There's a bunch of other people I can think of, but they're all like some nasty bastards that are a little more on my like on my side. So I don't know if I'd get a chance to really fight them. People like Eddie Ross, who just won the Intercity Championship at NEW, that would love to take that guy on, but we're too aligned at the moment. So you know, one of us has to have some beef with each other before we can bring that to town. You know.
A lot of contrast with who you've been naming for sure. So that makes sense that
Mhm.
something's got to give on some of those opponents that you didn't name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Zero G. Sorry, I'm just naming more people. Zero
that's
G
all
is
good.
another one. I just like at the recent Dusk. Yeah, Casey Ferreira, Zero G, and Miles DeVille just had like an amazing match at Dusk Pro, and I want to be in the ring with all those guys. I like together or set or like individuals. Yeah, I just I want to take them all on. Another one, and I'll name one last one. Jalen Hall, who just came in from out east. They've now come in and she's doing great. She is an amazing personality with great spirit, great athleticism, and a real good understanding of who she is and what she can do, which is really impressive. And I want to like yeah, I want to fight her as well. So there's a bunch of people, and I'm
Well,
definitely missing some people too.
well, my fingers are crossed that you get to check all those names off of that list, whether you fought them or not. Get them going again.
Okay.
If you can, plug any of your upcoming shows and where we can find Mason Crowley.
Where you can find Mason Crowley. I'm going to be making appearances at the next couple of Boom shows. We got the Kyle Fines has discovered AI. I don't know what I'm doing, but Kyle Fines has something for me. I just know that much. Then I'm going to be at the Spot Prawn season. I'm definitely going to be making an appearance there. Going to be messing some stuff up there. And then I'm going to be helping out Boom again when they do their Pride show for New West early June. I believe that is June 6th, and then June 13th for the last Kits show for Boom Kits. I'll be there as well.